Welcome to my Days of Our Lives official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Chanel goes missing. Nicole returned to the Disappearance from a jam.e.j. Was glad that the timeout had helped Nicole clear her head, but Nicole still was not sure what was coming for her. Nicole noted they had a busy morning wife.js press conference and Holly's academy. Holly came downward, irked that the snow had missed them and had not saved her from going back to academy. Holly wondered how she'd deliver the reason letters she had written for Tate and his family, since she had to stay down from them. Nicole told Holly she'd hold on to the letters and that she was proud of her son for taking responsibility. Nicole asked E.J. however, and if he was ready to deliver his own apology.j. Snarked that it was every quarter attorney's dream to admit unlawful execution. Holly expressed guilt, and E.J. said he'd only gone after Tate because he'd believed Holly would no way do medicines. "You proved me wrong," he concluded. Holly snapped that it had been delicate for her, since she had been on her third stepfather, a stepfather whose name had come with baggage. Holly also brought up E.J.'s family being intertwined in the medicine trafficking. After Nicole brutally reminded Holly that Holly had made her own choices, Holly raved, whatever, and left. Nicole apologized for Holly, Butte.j. Aloud. That Holly was frenetic at herself and lashing out as a result. They were intruded by a phone call for.j. Told the person he'd be there and hung up. Nicole kissed E.J. farewell and said she'd see him at the press conference. Formerly alone, E.J. scowled and affirmed his plan to deliver a weak argument so that the judge would reject Stefan's plea deal. Brady, Teresa, and Tate stopped for a mess at the Brady pub before the press conference. Teresa encouraged Tate to eat, but he claimed he was not empty. Teresa was anxious for the press conference so she could enjoy Mr. Bigd.a. eating crow intimately. Mocking E.J.'s accentuation, Teresa prognosticated he'd end the speech with, "I am such an idiot." To Teresa and Brady's chagrin, Tate wondered who differently would be at the press conference. When Brady again advised Tate to keep his distance from Holly, Tate groused that he'd go directly to jail, don't pass go. With an eye roll, Tate told Brady he got it and that he'd stay down from Holly the teenage werewolf. Teresa doubled down on Brady's warning, condemning Holly as trouble who would squinch up Tate's life. Tate diverted the subject to him working again at the cantina. Tate made the case that he'd be paying off his debt while also helping out his family. Brady and Teresa were both undecided and encouraged Tate to concentrate on academy rather. As Brady tabled the discussion, Nicole and Holly entered and caught Tate's eye. Nicole took notice of Brady's and especially Teresa's responses and told Holly they demanded to admire the family's wishes and leave. Holly pressed Nicole to let her give the family her reason letters in person, and Nicole reluctantly agreed. Holly approached the table with Nicole and informed the group that she had written them letters. As Holly handed the letters out, her hand brushed against Tate's, and the two participated a look. Tate read his letter quietly. Holly had written to him that she wanted to be the kind of person who deserves someone like you. She had also mentioned wanting to keep his sweatshirt the coming time, which urged Tate to memorize about their time alone in the domain. Brady politely told Holly that he appreciated the letter, but Teresa was less enthused and reiterated that the letter didn't change the way Teresa felt about Tate and Holly seeing each other. Nicole assured Teresa that Holly would abide by their wishes, while Tate and Holly participated a craving regard. When Nicole and Holly stepped down, Holly said she had been nervous but was glad to have delivered the letters. Nicole hoped that the experience had tutored Holly to make better opinions, because choices could have severe consequences. Holly pledged that she no way wanted to hurt Nicole or anyone differently like that again. Mama and son each told the other, "I love you." Back at the table, Tate read a communication on his phone and blat, "What the hell?" He tried to blow off the comment, but after Teresa prodded him, Tate showed her the communication. A sprat at Academy had called Tate a lozenge-pushing dirtbag on social media. An enraged Teresa promised to talk to the star, but Tate contended with her not to make a big deal out of the communication. Brady believed the press conference would make effects easier for Tate, but Teresa was not as sure. As they all headed out for the press conference, Holly pledged to Tate, Brady, and Teresa that she'd let everyone at Academy know that Tate had had nothing to do with her overdose. Tate said he'd see Holly there and smiled at her. At the police station, Sloane met with her new prospective customer, Stefan. She called his case unusual because he'd formally worked out a plea deal without an attorney. A move she supposed bold. After Stefan remarked that fearlessness was in his DNA because he was a DiMera, Sloane cracked that a man who chooses to represent himself has a fool for a customer. Stefan reminded her that he wanted her to represent him. When she brought up a retainer and noticed Stefan's pained expression, Sloane riposted that Stefan wasn't looking so intrepid. Stefan explained his incapability to pierce his finances, but assured Sloane he'd pay her free-heartedly. He also insinuated that she demanded the work. Nonplussed, Sloane demanded double the plutocrat and asked Stefan why he wanted her help when he'd formerly worked out commodity wife. J. Stefan admitted he felt confident J. would double-cross him. Arrived, annoyed that the hail had been moved over, and wanted to know why Stefan had hired a counsel when they had formerly agreed on a deal. Stefan reaffirmed that he did not trust J, who combated to Stefan that a veritably generous deal was on the table. Smiling, Stefan prompted J to go forward with the deal so Fate. J could vapor to Salem citizens about avoiding an expensive trial. When Stefan suggested going home to the manse once he was released, J baffled. Stefan promised J would pay if Stefan was not allowed to return home. Latterly, in the judge's chambers, J made his case for Stefan's release. J ended by telling the judge that time served would be in the stylish interest of all parties. Appalled, the judge asked if J was joking and called the proposed deal the epitome of nepotism. Wing. J began to protest. The judge cut him off, claiming the deal wasn't in the public interest and didn't reflect the graveness of the charges. Sloane asked to speak and launched into a defense of Stefan in which she brought up the medicines that had been seized and the apprehensions made because of Stefan's backing. Sloane also corroborated how Stefan had worked with Clyde under constraint because his woman had been hovered and injured. The judge blazoned that she'd consider the plea bargain but would bear time to reach a decision. After the judge left, Stefan unfeignedly thanked Sloane, who let him know they were in a waiting game. Formerly a lone wife. J, Stefan changed blackmail pitfalls with his family. Stefan inferred he'd made clones of the audio recording, Andy. J combated that he could turn Stefan in for shooting Harris. My blackmail trumps your blackmail. Take your burrow back to your cell, like a good little boy, J sniggered before storming out. Brady, Teresa, and Tate arrived at the press conference and were unpleasantly surprised to see Fate. J had begun the proceedings before the press had arrived. J issued a vague reason saying that he was sorry the justice system didn't always work and also concluded the press conference. An outraged Brady blasted J for not taking further particular responsibility during the speech. Brady demanded J give him a written dupe of the speech, Andy. J